look at
again?
this empty theater we have for our awards. I'd say it's empty because we're in the middle of a pandemic, but you and I both know this is how it always is.
Yeah, it's usually just us shouting at a bunch of chairs.
Yeah.
Luckily, the rec center doesn't make us rent them out individually, and it's just like, yeah, you can use the chairs here.
Yeah, that would be a pain in the ass. But they're like, hey, just put everything away when you're done.
And then they shut the lights off, even though they were just talking to us in the rec center.
Yeah, we have to bring those sort of camping lanterns, the battery-powered ones.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but you work with what you've got.
Mm.
But why are we here in this dusty old rec center shouting at an audience of empty chairs and the spirits in the rafters?
Well, we're shouting to the spirits in the rafters, the empty chairs, and the voices in my mind because it is time for the seasonal awards. Woo! Clap, clap,
Yay!
clap.
Pachi Pachi. We did it. We made it through another season somehow. We have
And you
yet
know what?
again.
It was pretty solid 6.5 out of 10 season.
It was okay. I don't know. But we did it and we're here.
Some things stood out more than others, and that'll probably be easily reflected today.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty clear which show was real good because it's the awards are a little lopsided this
Hmm.
season. And you know what?
And we're skipping doing the Higurashi rundown just because that's the only show we're still watching. We'll just do it next week with the other episode. It's the
Yeah.
start of a new arc anyway, so
We will double down next week on the Higurashi.
along with all the new shows, which will be neat because I haven't really looked at anything that's airing for next season.
I haven't either, but I believe I've heard that Doctor Stone, Stone Wars arc is starting next season.
I'm mad Doctor Stone is getting its second season before Shield Hero.
Doctor Stone aired its first season and is now getting its second season before uh, Shield Hero is getting its second season.
Mm.
That is, I want to know what's taking so long.
Yeah, and they even said season 2 and 3. We're getting that this year, though, I think.
We goddamn better.
But yeah, I haven't looked at anything, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a step up and we don't actually end up with any gotcha shows.
Oh.
The only gotcha show I would watch is Arknights because there's an actual story there.
Yeah. They would. Yeah, and you know what? Based on all the AMVs and stuff they've been doing for Arknights, I bet it would look pretty good.
Well, it depends on the studio because obviously probably whoever does that is not going to do the full series.
Probably not, but I feel like if you're gonna pick after releasing AMVs and stuff like that, you have to pick a studio that you know is gonna do well, because you do not want.
I think Yostar has their own in-house team that can do stuff like that. I'm just not sure about a full show.
Yeah, because the production costs and logistics of that are just insane.
I think they had like A1 Pictures or something do the Azure Lane show, which is another gotcha game under the same company.
So maybe they'll do the same. Maybe they would go back to the same studio. That would make sense.
Yeah, I guess it all depends.
They already got a working relationship, you know?
Yeah, it's usually how it works.
Where do we start? Where do the awards start? What do we dish out first?
Well, let's just pull back that red curtain right there. Meanwhile, I gotta send you that JPEG that I use for every single awards, just so it's got the consistency.
I think it might be in the Google Drive.
I
I'll
don't know.
check that again, but I think it's in there.
All right. Well, the first thing when you pull back the curtain is it's a list of CDs, all with the OPs burned onto them in a really shitty, like 2000s mixtape style.
Yeah, I had to write in the Japanese names, but I crossed it out a couple times because, like,
It's all
I
in
would
marker though,
try.
so it's fine.
Yeah, I would try to write it in Japanese script, but I'm not very good at that, so I just said fuck it and wrote it in English.
We haven't recorded in person for a while, so I'll just read off the nominees because Ian doesn't have that in front of him.
I can't look at a list that does not exist in front of me.
And we stopped adding the little sound snippets because YouTube is just it's like, come on, man. No one's watching this to like be like, yeah, I want to listen to the entire thing, or I really want to get the feel of that OP. Like 15 seconds of one of these next to an hour of us talking is really not.
It's not the ideal
Yeah,
format for music piracy.
no. But the category is best OP, and the nominees are Wandering Witch: The Journey of Elena, Akudama Drive, and Higurashi.
So,
Because things always must be done in threes.
yeah, the rule of threes always applies to us, especially when we dole out awards that mean nothing.
Absolutely nothing. But yeah, as far as these go, I like the visuals of the Elena one, but I can barely remember most of it except for like the one part where it like starts to like really like kick in while she's flying.
Yeah, it's whimsical.
It's
It
just her like
looks
running
nice.
around places and it's like, ah, yeah. The scenery is really nice.
I
But yeah,
feel
the
like
song I
that
don't really like remember.
I feel like that sums up the show itself pretty well is like it looks really nice, but there's a lot of stuff that just kind of falls a little flat.
Yeah, it's a lot of there's some real good episodes. I wouldn't say anything really hits banger episode, but there's some episodes that are just bad or
Yeah.
lackluster.
Yeah. You get a forgetful princess. No, it's the princess with no servants or whatever.
The
You
Princess with
get
No
one of
Subjects, I think.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
You
that
get one
one
of
banger.
those,
Well, close to a banger. That's still a really good one.
and then
Um,
and
and
then you
then you
get
get the time travel one.
yeah. So yeah,
But yeah, well, just like the show.
just like
Um,
the show.
then the Akudama Drive one is awesome. Just the song's cool, the visuals are cool.
Again,
Kiss me, oh demon.
it's just like the show. It's loud, it's in your face, it's eye-catching.
Also, they inserted it into the last episode, and that's always great when the OP becomes the insert song.
It you know, if you've got a banger OP like this one, I think you have to.
And the Higurashi one, I really like it.
It's just cool. It's a good
Yeah.
song.
I believe what you said.
It's just good. You listen to it and you're like, I could listen to this in my spare time every now and again.
I also really like how they use the original OP as the ED for the first episode.
Yeah, that's a nice touch. I like when studios do stuff like that. It's a good homage.
Yeah. But if you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
I think I really just gotta go with the Hypnosis Mic OP. I just love Japanese rap, and it just really hits close to home to me, you know? Congrats, we've done it. We've done the bit. Now for my actual pick, it's got to be Akudama Drive all the way.
Yeah, I think
It kicks
that was
ass.
the one I actually looked forward to watching the whole time besides the Higurashi one.
Yeah, it is. It's
Also,
one
it's
that,
dynamic. Things change in it. Like Swindler's hair is short in the later versions.
yep, when she
Also, it,
cuts
it
her hair,
foreshadows everybody's death.
it does, which means that they put thought into the OP itself, which holy shit.
Yeah,
It's a banger song. It's got detail and thought put into it. Overall,
it's
it's
got a
just
lot of
good.
style and it's cool.
Yeah. It's this clearly the standout. Cuz like the other ones are cool. They're okay. They're decent, but this one slaps. And what better way to end our award ceremony than by going over the EDs? We'll
You do
wrap
this every
everything up
time.
here. I do. It's my go-to bit. Cause I don't know. I like it.
You know
It
what?
makes
Shut up. I'm just gonna read the nominees.
fine.
Shut up. Best ED. Um, Once again, Wandering Witch: The Journey of Elena, Higurashi, and Assault Lily Bouquet. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the Elena one. Ian liked it though.
I do. I like the visuals of it because it's like they put transparent layers over and she's got like galaxies in her hat and it just looks real cool. Personally, I think it looks better than the OP and the song is kind of nice and comfy. That's all I got to say about it.
I don't remember it, so I'm probably not gonna pick it. The Higurashi one though, I really liked because we kind of get a sort of look into everybody. I like the arts direction they went with it too. Like that see the part where Keiichi's kind of hitting Rena with the bat, but like it's that first person, his face is all red and his eyes are all white.
Yeah, it's they went for a different art style and I think it really gets kind of
I
the
like the song
ED.
too.
Yeah, the song is pretty good. But the ED, it sets up the fact that there's more going on and that there's some grim stuff underneath underneath everything, and it does that pretty well.
Yeah. And it also like because it shows, hey, this is all the bad shit going on in every character's life. Like
Yeah.
Satoko's really terrible uncle, Rena's alcoholic father, the whole Sonozaki inheritance thing
Yeah, that whole big ass mess.
about them, being a Yakuza family.
And basically just being like, all right, Shion, you go chill away.
Yeah.
Just
You go chill
away.
elsewhere. Yes, cool shit. I
It
liked it.
is.
And because I like the series a lot.
It's very good. I think it shows gives you a better feel for the show by
And
watching that ED.
and as Assault Lily goes, it's one of the only other ones I remember.
There's a lot of cute girls in it. I don't remember the song, but there's a lot of cute girls in
And there's cute girls, and they're all laying on top of each other.
it. Yes, that I'd say that pretty much encompasses Assault Lily Bouquet. The only
Basically.
the only way they could do it better is if everyone was playing a phone game. Like they're all just laying around playing a gotcha.
No, because they have to be staring at each other. They gotta have the Yuri stare.
Yeah. What
But
do you
I'm
pick?
picking Higurashi.
You know, it's a mighty coincidence because I myself am picking Higurashi.
I think we're gonna probably agree on most of the stuff this season, just because there wasn't. Every category has a contender that's really way stronger than the other ones.
Yeah, this is not a good season for like differing views and discussion because the things that were good were pretty uniquely good.
Yeah, completely separate from each other.
Like I'm gonna spoil a little bit of the awards. Uh The Day I Became God isn't gonna win shit.
It is not now. It's not nominated for a single category.
Yeah, and a
I don't think there
solidly.
was anything I really particularly liked about it. I don't even. It's just I nothing the show.
Yeah, it is. It is like a pretty solid 5.
The only reason I don't like the only reason I don't think I even dislike it the same way I dislike The Price of Smiles is because I didn't expect anything from The Day I Became God really early on.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so I'm like, as soon as she got taken away by the government, I'm like, all right, my interest is over anyway. What little bit was there?
Yeah.
I'm like, this
I
is too early to pull the be sad stuff.
exactly. And it just it doesn't deserve anything that it really tries to go for. It's a series that falls right on its face.
Like, I feel bad, like Jun Mata, like went into self-isolation basically and like deleted his Twitter or whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, sure people don't like it. You may have wrote a stinker, but you did really good ones in the past. You can just ride those. It's not like this is your one and only work. It's like, dude, you made Clan Ad, Little Busters, Canon.
Y-
You're good.
yeah.
You can get away with a few mess ups here and there.
Not even M. Night Shyamalan put out like The Sixth Sense. I don't know why that took me so long to remember. Even Shyamalan put out The Sixth Sense. Sure, he also made The Happening and like a lot of other
To be
really
fair,
bad
I would say
movies.
he's a weird comparison because most of his catalog is bad versus good.
Yeah,
Like the good stuff is the minority.
exactly. And people still think positively about him. Like,
You write, I guess it's you make one banger and everyone's like, all right, here's your blank check.
exactly. No one's going to be like, man, The Day I Became God wasn't very good. I'm going to hate June Mata forever.
I guess
No,
it's though
dude.
when you make one good thing, you're only going to use that to. So with M Night Shyamalan, it's like from the creator of The Sixth Sense. They're not going to be like from the creator of Devil.
From the creator of The Happening.
Yeah, they're just gonna for every new movie from the creator of The Sixth Sense forever.
or or Unbreakable. I think that was also a pretty
Split.
good one.
People like
Split.
Split.
Split's pretty good. But yeah, Jun Mata, don't take it too hard. This one was not a good one. But you know what? They don't all have to be.
Yeah, they don't have to be. You wrote some of people's favorite stuff, so you can just be content with that. And you know what? Try again. People aren't gonna
Try
be like,
again.
oh, I'm not gonna give him another shot. People will keep giving you a shot.
If people will keep giving M. Night a shot, they'll keep giving you a shot. Trust
Mhm.
me. Uh, did we say? Yeah, we did say what we were giving our award to.
Yeah, we already said Higurashi, but now for Best Girl.
Best girl. A harder choice than one would expect.
Because the best girls this season, for the most part, are the protagonists.
Yeah. And that kind of makes it hard to pick one because we have very strict rules that we are unflinching on when it
Mhm.
comes to our finale episodes.
Get ready to see us break the rule of three this one.
Yes. Yeah.
So best girl, Yu from Assault Lily, Rena from Higurashi, and Saya from Wandering Witch: The Journey of Elena. So
So
Yu was cool. I think she was the most standout character in her show,
she is one of the two characters whose names we actually know.
mostly because it's Yu and Riri, and their name makes Yuri.
Yes. It's almost like they did that on purpose.
Lunatic Trancer.
That's true. We know her name and her special ability. That's much better than we can say for basically anyone else, even among the main characters.
Yeah, so I guess props to you for being memorable in a show full of everything else being absolutely unmemorable.
Here's looking at you, you kid.
Um, Rena. So it was a tough choice between Rena and Mion, and I think me and Ian just like Rena a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a tough choice, but I think Rena does end up coming out on top.
Also, I feel like when you just think of Higurashi, Rena's the most memorable one, with her
Yeah,
hatchet,
exactly. I think it
sticking her like
was
eyeball through the peephole.
oh, that shot is creepy. I think you sent me a picture of Rena before we started watching this. And I was like, "Hey, isn't that one of the characters from Higurashi?" That's how iconic Rena is. I hadn't
Just
even
yeah,
watched the show at that point, and I
you
knew
just
who
know
that
her as
was.
like, hey, that's the crazy girl with the hatchet.
Yeah, you don't get much more iconic than that.
And she's really great, except when she's trying to kill you.
Yeah. In the timelines when she's not a crazy murder lady, and even in some of the ones where she is, she's pretty awesome.
Hmm. And who did I say was the last one? Saya.
That
She
that
is
doesn't bode well.
she is there. She is hella gay.
I feel bad. I feel like that was a little spoilery where it's because I couldn't. I'll let you in on a little secret. I couldn't remember who our third pick was either.
She's basically there to pad the list.
Yeah, that.
Granted, she's not the worst padding we've ever had to use,
No,
but yeah, so she's just kind of she's all right.
she has one thing, and that one thing is that she loves Elena, and that's it.
Her original episode that she first meets Elena was pretty good,
Yeah,
and where she needs her help because she's not very good at learning magic. And then everything after is just kind of, hey, this is my one character trait.
I kind of like her in the wall one, I guess. Like
That's
the
true,
wall
actually, because
one's
she
okay.
basically just it's comedic how she gets the wall destroyed, so by the time Elena gets there wanting to see the wall, it's gone.
Yeah, that's something.
And the
Which
body
is
swapping episode was kind of neat.
I like body swap episodes. I think they open the door for a lot of fun stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
But she's not
Yeah.
gonna win. We
So I'm pretty sure we both pick Rena.
yeah, cause I mean like Yu Yu is cool, but like that's it.
She's just the cool dark-haired girl, which you can kind of find dime a dozen.
Yeah. That character, she's an archetype that is literally everywhere.
And
And
Saya loses a lot of her luster really early on when she just becomes just, hey, here's my one gimmick.
yeah, the obsessive love of Elena dampens her character by a lot, which is a little disappointing to see, but I don't really care all that much.
I guess it is. I guess it is kind of funny when we meet her sister and we realize, oh, they have the exact same personality type. That's why.
Yeah, except her sister is super sister complex.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, Rena.
Rena, she's fun in the arcs when she is not a crazy murder person. She's always trying to do the right thing. And I know technically the original series is not part of the season we watched, but she gets
Technically, it is
into a.
though because we're in a sequel.
That's true. She gets into a like moonlit backed sword fight with Keiichi on the roof of well, bat and hatchet fight at the top of the school in the original series, and that's cool as shit. That's so cool.
It really is. Now, this is the one category that actually has competition. Best Boy.
I never thought I'd see it, but here it is.
So our nominees for Best Boy are Dr. Licht from Fire Force, Courier from Akudama Drive, and Jiro Tomitake from Higurashi.
So,
So this was the season of Dr. Licht in Fire Force, I feel like.
yeah, we get so much of a look into Dr. Licht and how he works this
Which is
season.
I'm really glad about because he was just kind of like there for most of the first half, and I'm like, man, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? And then we find out Dr. Licht's a pretty great guy.
Yeah, he has I
He's
would
willing to put
say
himself on the line to find the truth.
yeah, and that's pretty admirable. I'd say he's got a lot of similarities with Joker, another one of our favorite characters from Fire Force.
Which is why
With
they're kind of partnered up with each other.
exactly, and that partnership is great.
And I do like his friendship with Shinra, how like he's basically the one that sort of like explains all the sciences of stuff to him. And even then when they're going to Hijima together, he's like, yeah, they're probably gonna kill me here, but that's fine. He's like, I'm not gonna let them.
Yeah,
He's
that's a
like,
cool
Dr. Licht
scene.
is even when Dr. Licht tells everybody, he's like, yeah, I'm actually a spy from Hijima.
Everyone's super chill. They're like, all right,
Yeah, we figured something was off about you.
yes, we figured something was weird about you, Dr. Licht, the crazy mad scientist.
But yeah, and then the part where uh they go to like the tabernacle in the jungle area, and he's like, when Arthur figures out it's pie, and then he goes back home, he's like, holy shit, it really was pie.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a good character. He was probably one of the strongest characters this season in Fire Force.
I'm inclined to agree.
And next up, Courier.
Just the just the coolest boy ever.
You know who Courier kind of reminds me of?
Ooh,
Ryan Gosling and Drive.
holy shit.
Right?
I think you're onto something there.
Real human being
He's a real human being
and
with a
a real hero.
badass motorcycle with a rail gun on it
Yeah,
and
instead of a car, he's got a bike.
and he's got a sick
Leather jacket
robot arm and a sick leather jacket, much like Ryan Gosling
in
in
Drive.
Drive.
Yeah,
Holy
he
shit.
he is he's just a cool character. He's a simple man.
Courier does whatever he needs to do to get the job done,
He's a
and he doesn't
simple kind of man.
exactly. And he doesn't pick up dropped money because it's bad luck.
But yeah, he'll do whatever it takes to get the job done, and he has no time for nonsense, and everybody's a shithead.
Yep, he's everyone and everything is shit. He hates it. He hates it all.
He's
He
grumpy, but
also
he'll still get it done.
he also uses his robot arm to direct a fucking energy lance from his bike's railgun.
He also seems a little autistic, but in like an endearing way.
100%. Which kind of makes sense since you learn that his mom died when he was a little young kid and he had to pick up the family business.
Yeah, Korean.
Korean.
That's the family business, Korean.
We've been currying in this cyberpunk dystopia for 17 generations now. We always get the job done here on Old Blue.
And Jiro Tomitake is just a good guy.
He's a cool guy.
Tommy.
Tommy is a photographer.
Tommy is ripped.
He's shredded like lettuce.
And also
That's what,
he's one of the only guys working with the lab that has a conscience.
yeah. He's a good guy who works for some not so good guys and always dies.
Always dies. Except actually, for the first time ever, he didn't in one of the routes in the most recent one. He drove away with Takano, remember? And they couldn't find them.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. They dip.
Yep.
I just kind of assumed they were dead. But
That's the thing. You
actually,
can't really assume with you. You never know because we got to wait till we get the answers where they actually explain everything that's going on.
yeah, when we get to the answer arc for that one, we'll probably learn where they went.
Yeah. And maybe they know something about all
Maybe
this that
they
we don't
learned
know.
something. Maybe
Because I
they
like to
learned.
think Takano is good now.
You'd like to think so, but who knows at this point?
Who knows? But
Who's your
yeah,
pick?
I gotta
Who
pick.
is?
I really like Dr. Licht this season. He was really cool. Just the amount of like depth they gave his character was really awesome. Dr. Licht actually specifically feels like a character you would make in D&D.
Yeah,
Like his style is your style.
yeah. That's why I love him so much.
Tomitake I love just because, he's Tomitake. I already experienced all of Higurashi, so I know how great he is. Um, and Courier is just really cool. Courier just feels like an action movie character. Like I said, Ryan Gosling and Drive. Um, it's hard going through it, but I think I'm just gonna pick Courier just because I felt like Akudama Drive gave me the most like, oh, this was awesome, and he really made for a hype last episode. And
Yeah,
anytime you
they're
fought, it was cool, like the bike and all like the weird things it can do, and then he's got his gun.
yeah, Courier also has one of the coolest lines right before he kills someone where that guy's like, "What was that light?" And he comes up behind him and he's like, "That was the end of the tunnel," and just fucking blows that dude's head off. That
I just
scene
like
is
his
great.
all his fights are neatly choreographed because they incorporate the bike into it.
Yeah. Courier has a lot of the best fights. And that's coming from a series where they seem to like anytime Brawler got into a fist fight with someone, they introduced some kind of weird visual effect in the background. So, like the first one, they turned the room into an aquarium with the projections.
And
So they're
then
just fighting on that.
and then I just really like the part where he blew up the tower and then started driving up that. Also, I think Akudama Drive takes place in Osaka because I'm pretty sure that's the tower in Osaka.
Okay.
Because Kanto, I think, is Tokyo, where Tokyo is.
Okay. You are the resident expert on things of that nature, so I will take your word for it.
But yeah, it's cool. He blows up the tower and then starts driving up it, and then
And
his
then
bike can do Spider-Man.
he has 3D maneuver gear on his bike, and he has a lot of the coolest scenes.
He's basically playing a game of Just Cause. Just
He
grapple off
is.
of everything and blow everything up.
He is. That's why he's my pick too, because he's just the fucking coolest guy ever. Because I
What a
love
bro.
Licht. I love Licht. As you said, he is a character that I would create, but he's not cool like Courier is.
Yeah, he's cool in his own way, just not like Courier.
There's nothing I love more than campy action movies, and Courier feels like a character out of a really good campy action movie. Ah, I would say that's probably one of the best seasons we've had for best boy list.
It really is.
Because honorable mention, second best boy of Akudama Drive, you've got Hoodlum.
Yeah, but we couldn't. We could only do one from one show, so well,
Exactly.
Courier.
Courier far outpaces Hoodlum in best boyhood,
Yeah, he
but
really does.
Hoodlum still gets props. Hoodlum is not a lesser boy, just lesser when compared to the best boy. What else
We get
let's
the best antagonist category, so let's break our rule of three, because they're really slim pickings.
there wasn't any really.
Because we don't know yet really who the bad guy is in Higurashi yet. Um, there really wasn't a main antagonist in Fire Force right now. It's like the same usual suspects, but no one in particular.
Yeah, there wasn't one that like stood out for a long time.
Like
It was
Dr.
always
Giovanni was back, but he only showed up for like a single fight.
yeah,
And then we had the Huge and Assault Lily, which
gotcha villains,
and then
gotcha enemies.
and Journey of Elena is episodic.
Yeah, they're most episodes didn't really even have a
Yeah,
villain.
most of them didn't even have a villain. It's just this society sucks. The society is the villain.
So isn't society the truest villain?
But there was one show in particular that had a lot of villains, which we could have just filled it up with villains from this one show. But there was one specifically that I think stood out more than the others.
Yeah.
Doctor from Akudama Drive.
Yeah. I think if we really wanted to hold true to the rule of threes, we could have just picked three villains from Akudama Drive.
Yeah, it would have
But I
been Doctor, Boss, and Executioner Senpai.
yeah. But I mean, Doctor just wins, you know?
Because she's just really terrible.
She's horrible the entire time. We get that sweet, sweet curse your sudden yet inevitable betrayal moment when she turns the kid over to Judi Dench.
Yep. We find out she was really the reason Brawler died.
Yeah, she killed another main character and we didn't even know it until later, but it makes sense with her character and her character's expertise.
Yep, and she goes from being a party member to just being just the worst. Just being she just screws over everybody.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna
And
kill all of you if it means I can save myself.
and she gets killed by the second best boy. She gets killed by Hoodlum.
Yeah. Who she considered to be nothing more than a parasite that needed to leech off of others that couldn't do anything for himself.
Hoodlum has his redemption moment by killing her. So
Yeah.
you know what? That adds villain cred.
Because
Unfortunately,
she
she
gets a
kills
lot
him too.
more than like Eye Patch Girl doesn't really ever really fit the villain mode or mold. Because
No,
she's more just confused the entire series.
even like she's there to job, and then when Executioner Senpai dies, she just straight up like doesn't do anything for the rest of the show for the most part. She just shows up and is
And then is
dismayed at
confused that like,
things.
wait, people don't like us?
What's going
What are
on?
all these signs? Fuck the police?
But what? No. And Judi Dench is cool, but you know, she doesn't do anything herself. She's the villain leader.
Yeah, and if anything, it's more fun to just watch her be like, shit, why is this all happening under my watch?
Yeah. I think that's the best part about getting to look at the leaders of the villains is watching the leaders be like, "What's going on?
But
This is impossible."
the executioner dude that fought Brawler was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's easily number 2 cuz he's the biggest badass ever of all time.
That's why he had to die, because he was too big of a threat to them.
You're not
He could
wrong.
fight Brawler, Courier, and Cutthroat all at the same time.
Yeah, that is 100% why he had to die.
Cutthroat, I guess, technically fits the villain mode too, but his whole thing was just that, whoa, I'm crazy, which
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of. He
there's
doesn't do
enough
it
of that.
particularly better or worse than anyone else who fits his archetype.
Exactly. I'd say out of the group itself, he is the most like cardboard cutout two-dimensional character.
I will give this to Cutthroat's whole journey. Usually, because you know how he starts out in the party and then becomes a crazy threat? Normally it's in reverse with that type of character. They start out like a super crazy threat and then after join the party and they're fine then. But this takes it in the more realistic approach like, hey, he's only on your side because of circumstances. This is a crazy, dangerous serial killer. The second he's cut loose, he needs to be put down.
That's true.
It's not like, hey, I'm a crazy murderer and then I got beat by the heroes. Now I'm just their friend and I'm not doing anything crazy or murdering.
That's very true.
So I think that is interesting. That's the inevitable route that would actually happen if you had one of those in your party.
Yeah, and you don't want one of those in your party. Trust me, I've played one.
Yeah, but
I will
everybody was
admit,
terrible in that party.
yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I kind of miss the Black Talon.
Dude, I miss just playing D&D.
Me too. I've been thinking about buying. This is D&D talk that no one has any context for, but I've been thinking about having to go out and buy a new set of fancy nobles clothes for like 4 months because I get shot by a tank in my last one.
Yeah, his clothes got burned.
How'd it get burned?
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?
Guys, the true best protagonist is always Nicolas Cage.
Good segue into the next award, Best Protagonist. So we have Nick
I
Cage
try.
and
Nick Cage,
Ryan
Gosling,
and Keanu Reeves.
That's an impossible list.
That is a tough one.
You just can't pick one.
But for our actual ones, we have Elena from Wandering Witch, Swindler from Akudama Drive, and Mayabara Keiichi from Higurashi. So, a lot of strong contenders on this list. It is a bit unfair, though.
It is.
Because Mayabara Keiichi, K1 as some call him, has at least 20 years of content and development.
There is so much shit behind the Keiichi we know and love today that like it's like you said, it's really just kind of unfair.
And Keiichi's part of a really sort of ongoing story, or just a story that has a lot happening in it, whereas Swindler is from what essentially is just kind of a basic action flick.
Yeah.
It's cool, but it's an action flick. And Elena is part of an episodic series that isn't really about Elena for the most part.
Right.
Elena is an observer.
Elena she's a fun character and she has some fun moments, but at the end of the day, what Elena is she's basically just a lens for us to view the rest of this world.
Yeah, she's a sarcastic observer, so we can be like, I would think the same thing about that situation too.
Except we wouldn't, because we're not that clever.
Yeah.
No one's that clever. That's the fun thing about writing.
Well, I mean more in the sense of Elena just looking at things being like, I don't care. This isn't my problem. Be like, it's not her problem.
It's not her problem. And then someone makes it her problem. Or they don't, and she just moves on. That's also a possibility.
Yeah, sometimes she just goes like, whatever, and leaves. Like when the plant zombies were going to go destroy that city that she caused the problem for.
Yeah. I think that's kind of funny. And it's like a darkly comic sense. That's kind of funny. She shows up, fucks over this town, and then it's just like, wow, that seems like a real bad problem for you guys.
Also, I don't know why they're like, hey, the flowers from that forest can basically kill people. I'm like, guys, then go burn down the forest.
Yeah, just, you know what plants really hate? Fire.
And you have an army.
Just light it on fire. You have torches in town. We've seen them.
And you all wear masks, so clearly, you have some sort of resistant material.
Yeah, you're not just going out there like a boomer going into Walmart.
Yeah,
That's a
it's my
topical
right.
joke.
But yeah, I picked Keiichi just because I love Keiichi. Keiichi's great.
Keiichi is a guy
There's so
who
many meme images of Keiichi that I can think of too that just make me think of how great Keiichi is. Like there's one I love where it's him like, and what's wrong with being a pervert and giving the smile with like the shine and like the teeth.
That's so good. Keiichi is a kid who he they say
Keiichi's
it
a
a
good
lot,
kid. He cares about his friends and he just gets put into terrible situations.
and he somehow always well, not always, but like he always fights. He's a fighter, and that's admirable. He
Keiichi never
doesn't want
rolls
that
over and
shit.
dies.
Exactly. And
Keiichi will
yeah.
claw his way to success,
In the
sometimes through his own throat.
yeah. Keiichi in the Mion arc in this one shoulder rams through an iron door of a cell and like tries to bust his way out of a bunker so he can stop his friend from doing something dangerous.
He convinces the entire village to put aside their age-old prejudice to help out a friend.
And he beats a man to death with a baseball bat who deserved it.
He's done
That's
that
not
several times now.
It's not necessarily admirable, but he's done that a lot. And
Sometimes he beat people to death with a baseball bat who didn't deserve it.
that's true, but we'll put those arcs to the side for now. Actually, he's had two arcs like that. But yeah, it's
He's
just
really great.
he's a great guy and he just wants to do great things.
I do pick Keiichi, but I do really like Swindler. How it just sort of she was just a regular person that at the end embraced her persona or her Akudama status.
I agree.
Or
I
like her
think
last scene is basically her telling people she's like, "Wait, I'm just a regular civilian," but in her mind she's like, "No, I'm Swindler."
yeah, I need to swindle. She even gets her own Akudama intro at the end just to
Yep.
cement that. It's real nice.
And then she destroys society.
And then she destroys the true villain, society.
We live in a society.
We live in a society,
Not anymore.
says Swindler.
But it is
But
Keiichi.
it is. Keiichi wins, but I think if we had not done Higurashi, Swindler would have won.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Ba ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba 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 da 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 da. I'm making a big deal out of this, but you know what it is.
yeah. It's the show that we're gonna pick.
I'll preface it with it isn't Higurashi because it's not over yet, so we don't know if reviving this series that ended years ago was a good idea or not.
Yeah, we don't want to put our eggs in that basket because there is
I
still
need to see
plenty
the
of time.
payoff first. This could either be like, wow, this was so stupid. Why did they add a sequel for no reason?
That's the dangerous thing about Higurashi. There is plenty of time for it to just fall flat on its face.
So we don't know.
But what do we do know?
We
We know
know
that
Assault
uh,
Lily Bouquet was the best show this season. I'm kidding.
yes,
I'm kidding. It's the day I became God. Hidden surprise for all of you. It was actually our favorite.
when Alex messaged me a couple weeks ago and he was like, "Listen, I know that we're going to love the final arc in particular. It's just going to turn the whole show around for us, but we need to pretend like we hate it just so we can pull off the biggest bait and switch
Yeah, we were gonna
for
have
the finale.
It's huge. Now please come out here, June Mata. Thank you for participating in this with us. You got off Twitter just to make everyone super confused and think you were upset, only to come out here during the awards.
Yes,
So everyone,
unfortunately,
please give it a round for June Mata, but he can't make it today, so we're accepting in his stead.
because we did kidnap June Mata, so he wouldn't spoil our award.
Because he was ready to tweet about it.
He was excited. We called him up. We were like, "Brother,
I'm like, I think
your
you got
show
something here. You got something special.
was it impressed us so much that we had to give it anime of the season on our seasonal anime podcast." And then he sent something back in Japanese, but I can't really read that. But
I
it
Google
was
translated it,
probably,
but it was kind of messy, the translation. So I was just like, I think he likes it.
yeah, we're pretty sure he was pretty psyched. But we did have to kidnap him just to make sure he didn't spoil it. Because what we really care about is secrecy. That's why I just confessed to kidnapping June Mata on a podcast that I'm going to upload on the internet later.
Okay, we'll stop. We'll stop
This,
bullying the day I became God.
yeah, we do it. We do it because we know he's put out good stuff. We were
Yeah,
talking about it
he's
earlier,
made
and we
some
were
good
like,
stuff.
he's made some quality things, so we can pick on him for this one thing that's like not good because we
Stay
know that
humble,
this good.
King.
Stay humble. What
But
actually
the
won?
Akudama Drive, the coolest action flick.
The coolest balls to the wall action movie.
The cyberpunk thing that came out in the fall that ended up being better than Cyberpunk.
It's the cyberpunk we wanted.
CD Projekt Red was sitting there going like, "Shit, we should have done that.
Why didn't we make an adaptation of Akudama Drive?
Why did we add bikes that do shit like
Why?
with rail guns and grappling hooks?"
I guarantee that if they had added railguns and grappling hooks and cool stuff like that to the motorcycles in Cyberpunk 2077, that game would have gotten tens around the board no matter how unplayable it was.
Dude, you could have done a courier build.
I could have been Courier. That would have been so cool. I could have had a big revolver and been like, yeah, this place is shit, and then shot a
Lights
bunch of
out.
people with it. Lights out.
Actually, he doesn't even really have a revolver. He has like it looks like a more futuristic sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah. And in the last episode, it's like,
Got long range for some reason.
yeah, it turns into like a laser gun at some point, and he blasts people with that. They don't explain it, but it's still very cool.
That's the whole thing about the series. It was just very cool.
This
Very
show is
cool.
very cool.
Very cool.
Hold on, we're
I
both
clapped when
doing.
I saw it.
You know, the show looks good. The show has a premise that's interesting enough and simple enough so that it doesn't complicate things and just keeps it real tight and nice. And it's just good. There are a couple scenes where the show is just like straight up beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
I just like their depiction of like cyberpunk.
yeah, their cyberpunk Kanto felt very very unique. It still hit all of
Kansai.
the.
Kanto was the one inside the weird digital world.
Oh yeah, I won't count that one because that one was interesting. Um, that whole episode was kind of weak, but whatever. You can't win them all.
Get
They're
lightsaber wielding cops.
yeah, you got lightsaber cops. You got like
I
the
also like how
tall.
they have like blimp buses.
Yeah, public transportation in the skies. I like how it's still a city filled with tall buildings, but it's not
It's not like Coruscant from Star Wars where it's just endless city. Like,
exactly
hey, here's the
because
city, and everything outside the city is just like a barren wasteland full of junk from like the old world before the
yeah,
war.
and
And it's all old shit.
I like that because the show is busy. There are things going on in the background and stuff, but it's never cluttered
And
because
I just
that's
I don't know. I like series where they don't need to really for it's like it knows what it's doing and it just focuses on that. Like I like how no one has a name. It kind of reminds me of Goblin Slayer where oh, this is Doctor, Brawler, Hoodlum, Courier. This you know them by their roles. You don't need their name.
exactly because no one, literally no one in the show is named
Yeah, not a
because it
single
doesn't matter.
character. Yeah.
You know who everyone is. That's you know what? That's another thing. This show had I'd say just the perfect amount of characters that we needed to know.
I do like how I don't know. I do like how I like series where I don't want to say I like series where they kill off everybody, but I feel like they just did it really well in this, and it wasn't like overly sappy, like, oh, love this character. Do you love this character now? Now they're dead. It felt like everyone did what they needed to and then left the stage when they weren't needed anymore.
Yeah,
It's like Brawler's specific purpose was to take out the stronger executioner guy. And then after he did his purpose, the show was like, all right, we don't need Brawler anymore. We removed him.
and they still allowed it to be the emotional heart of another character
Yeah,
because like that affects Hoodlum a lot.
yeah. And I also again I was surprised. Swindler's the protagonist. She dies in the first 10 minutes of the last episode. Like she's not the last one alive. It's Courier.
Yep. Because Courier is the coolest man ever
Because
to
again,
ever live.
everyone serves their specific purpose. Even Swindler, her purpose was to essentially incite the riot, and then after die doing that, and then Courier's job was to do the delivery, and that's the last thing that needs to be done.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Everyone does what they need to do and then shuffles off the stage.
It's all real good.
Congratulations, Akudama Drive. You're a pretty good ass show.
You were the easy choice for us.
You did. You made the choices easier
And I'll
this
give it this.
season.
I'm not that big a fan of Danganronpa. This was done by the Danganronpa guy.
Yeah. It it feels there are points where it kind of feels like some of the I don't want to say some of the themes or tones or something like that. I can't quite figure out the words I want for it, but it feels like he learned something through Danganronpa and he brought that in here. And I can't
Yeah, I think I know what
place
you
it.
mean. I've only played the first Danganronpa and I thought it was okay. I didn't have really any motivation to do the second or the third.
I've only done the first one myself. Maybe I will do the other ones at some point because I do like investigation stuff.
I
But
know
like
people
still,
really like the second one. I think people say the second one's the best one.
then all you know what? Since basically all that stuff is on Steam now, it's pretty readily available. But we're not here to talk about Danganronpa.
Dang it,
Even though
Ron
it is,
Paul.
dang it, Ron Paul. Although I think we've exhausted I think we've exhausted all the things we can rave about for Akudama Drive.
Yep, that is it's got the gilded trophy.
I would say out of all the shows I've watched this season, I think this is probably the only one that I would like readily recommend to most people.
Yeah, same here. It was the only one I really, besides Higurashi, was looking forward to watching either. This was kind of like a slog of a season where I was like, all right, let's put on Assault Lily and the day I became God.
There were a couple times where I would almost forget to watch Assault Lily or The Day I Became God, just because of like how meh they are.
They really were meh.
Hopefully, we get a lot more like real cool stuff next season.
Yeah, so over the course of this week, we're going to be watching a bunch of stuff, more stuff than we normally do, because we have to test the waters for everything, and we'll be taking 5 more shows along with Higurashi.
Yes, much like what happened with Fire Force this season, where since it's 2 core, we carried it over. We are doing the same thing with Higurashi. And don't forget, we're going to be doubling up on Higurashi episodes next week because we won't be talking about this week's episode.
Double it up.
Double it up.
And if you want to see what we're watching next season, maybe you should hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube.
Yeah. Or if you're on iTunes.
Yeah, if you're on any of the other podcast platforms we're on, like iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, follow us whichever way they have you do it on that.
Yeah. And speaking of following us on things, you can also follow us on social media.
Twitter and Facebook at Protagonist.
It's where we post updates to things, so
I
you can stay
be tweeting
updated
about some of the stuff we're watching for the next season. Might be like, hey, this was pretty good. Might want to take this. Or this was trash. Might want to take this.
This was garbage. Might want to take this. Because, you can't. Sometimes you just want something that's absolutely abysmal that you can just shit on for like 20 minutes.
It's sometimes what you do. It's what you daddy do.
I know we've done that before.
But yeah, we'll see. I have literally no idea. I haven't really looked at the next season, so I'm probably, after we finish this, going to go look at the chart.
Yeah, me too.
But we're going to look at the chart. We're going to look at the chart right now as soon as we finish recording. You're just going to not have the audio of us going like, oh, that looks neat.
Yeah. I remember when we first started, I think the very first episode of the Protagonist Seat is us going through the entire list of shows and reading the descriptions and making jokes about it.
Yeah. I wonder if we should bring back that format.
No, because that was 2 hours long.
Well, yeah, that was long. Also, we had to pronounce all the hard Japanese titles.
I will say a lot has changed since then. I think we can do it. I think we can pronounce the Japanese names much better now.
I think we could. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be a little bonus thing. Maybe a little bonus content is us just like...
bonus content for our members.
Members only live streams. Someday. Not today, but someday. But that's all we got for you. Thanks for coming to this old, run-down, haunted rec center full of empty chairs. They turned the heat off 20 minutes ago, so now it's a little chilly.
The lanterns are running out of battery.
And we need to go. So normally my normal sign-off is class dismissed, but
get out.
We gotta get out of here. We're not in class today, so just get out of here. Go home.